I'll do it, man, no problem.
I'll do your invoices.
No, Lord. Yeah, yeah.
Regular. Huh?
That didn't work?
Oh, I tried it.
Happy birthday.
I don't know.
I don't know what that is.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
It's
6,
Happy birthday.
Maybe a week.
street department rules. But the
I said that.
state, no, the state says the city.
Happy birthday. If we had time, we'd sing happy birthday to you. Let's call this meeting to order. You're waiting for that adjournment,
No,
aren't you?
I set this down. It was
I've asked Mr. Mallour to lead us in our prayer and pledge. Please stand.
Gracious Father, thank you for this evening. Thank you for this day you've given us. Help us to be wise in your business and things for the city too, Father. We just thank you for your love and care for us. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Can we have roll call, please?
Terry Lamar,
Here.
Troy Shropshire,
Here.
Lori Bradshaw, absent. Travis Mallour,
Yes, here.
Randy Chitwood,
Here.
Charles Trammell,
Here.
Chris Gonthier,
Here.
Bruce Smith.
Here. All right. Item number 2, discussion regarding distribution of new laptops to 7 of the council members.
I'll take one and eat it.
I should make him say, please. All right. These are the laptop Chromebooks that were purchased with the Google grant that we received. We also have for you a
You need help?
warm little pouch to put them in.
Thank you.
You guys will get them out and turn them on, please.
Yes.
And then kind of give everybody a quick 1-2 on these.
They should be charged. I got the pleasure of dealing with all of them.
I do want to give a quick shout out while Courtney's passing those out to, if you'll look at the back of your Chromebook, Ms. Miller, go ahead and pull that off there.
Yes.
It's magnetic.
So right here, where it has this little slit, just pull that off. It's magnetic.
You'll see on the bottom that we
Oh,
had our local business, etch and burn to the city logo and an inventory number on there for it.
nice, thank you.
Okay, so how do you do
A
this?
shout out for that quick turnaround.
What are we doing with this?
Okay, so this is actually, he wanted to show
Oh, that,
Yeah.
It's really nice.
Oh, yeah, okay.
this is the stand, it's in it.
Yep, yep, that's it. That's where you're. Yep.
Thank you.
Set it up. Oh, sweet. Built-in keyboard, man.
Well, it's magnetic, so it'll come off.
Yeah.
Can't really do anything with stories because,
Bruce, I thought you didn't want one.
I'll change my mind.
You saw how
I
cool
may
they
change
were.
it back, but right now I've
Okay.
changed my mind.
Connected Wi-Fi already. Oh,
yeah,
sweet.
it should connect already to the Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
So now you guys should be,
Still trying to figure out how to.
There you go.
Hey, you
and
drop that
this moves
sucker.
around, so you can do it like that and.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So how's that going?
Network not available.
Yeah, I'm not liking this.
What do you got?
Oh, okay.
When you raise
It just said sign in, so
She's gonna,
Gonthier jumping
I don't
in.
remember what mine is.
okay, she's gonna walk everybody through logging on and getting onto these real quick, so.
you only have to do it once.
Did yours turn on? There it goes.
Mine turned on since I opened it up.
Thank you.
Did we click the proceed button?
No, that's where it went to.
Mine's on
Here's
this.
one for her too.
You must have clicked on the Wi-Fi.
Okay.
Right there.
Chuck it over her fence.
Yeah, not that I know of.
That's just where it came up to.
Guess I'm not working right.
No, everybody's on all kinds of different pages. I don't know what's going on.
Possibility, okay. Slick.
You're connected. It should bring you to the login screen, but it's not doing that.
It's not
Mine had jumped ahead, theirs is on
I
that.
had to click
it's already-
proceed,
that's
and
the way
when I
mine-
clicked
I hit
proceed,
back
it brought me to
and
No,
sign
mine
into
says
your
mine.
Chromebook.
And browsing.
This is for,
No, I mean, mine's, yours might be completely different mine, but she says I'm
mine
already
was on
connected.
that before.
Then you must have clicked on.
More.
They had
Oh,
one
she
I
says I'm
It
connected.
started out network not available for a moment.
We'll see.
I'm a guess, but I could
It
probably.
says down here.
But
we're
clicking
like-
over,
This isn't gonna work. You gotta do your city email address.
That's what I did.
I don't even remember my
It should
city.
be smithb@prairiecreek.org.
Smith B or B, B Smith, yes.
Smith B. And if
Okay.
you guys don't remember your city passwords, I can reset it.
I never knew mine.
Well, I'm not
Never
gonna
knew
reset it
those?
tonight,
Well,
I got
let
it
me
written
just
down at
reset
home.
that for you.
You're not gonna believe what mine.
Chase, was there ever a Parks and Rec on this
Smith
one?
B,
Courtney,
What? I think there was. Aren't you guys glad we had this?
his is different than
Mine just
mine.
popped up here. I don't
That's
know.
fine.
is our address.
No, that's
Learning how to work that tippy tappy.
Okay, we're supposed to go to there, huh?
I can't even, this is what mine
That's
is.
what Lori's laptop or tablet is doing too.
Charles, you got it on there?
It's supposed to go here.
Mine says Smith B at what, pryorcreek.org, is that what it is?
It says I'm already connected to the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, but it has to do like a pop-up thing like his did.
Yeah.
It's not doing it.
Okay, let's see how we do. Nope, wasn't me.
Security and privacy.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just have to do it.
Y'all know this is gonna be on the front page of the paper this week, right?
Mine did right there, and yours did.
Are you-
I'll send you the photo.
What is mine? I don't even know what mine, I had it set up on my phone.
Yeah, that needs to be the next thing. If we had the money, we could buy that, couldn't we?
Mine keeps saying Doyle for mayor. How do you get that off?
Oh,
Bruce, mine says Gantier for mayor.
Does it really?
Hey, that, oh, never mind.
Ooh, stir it up, man.
Y'all, it's getting deep in here.
Yeah, I'm thinking,
There you go.
they on both ends, and we all gonna have to pick our feet up.
Did yours work?
Yeah, I just don't know the password.
Mine did not.
I don't, never did.
Uh-oh, wrong way.
Okay, Randy, you'll type in Chitwood R for your email address.
I already got that on.
Okay, good.
At
So password,
pryorcreek.org.
no, yeah, pryorcreek.org. Now,
Yeah.
for the password, do capital W.
I know my
it'll be
password, I got it
welcome
written down at home, but I
one, And then
don't.
it'll ask you to change it.
So here we go.
Oh, I typed my old password in. Do I need to do it again?
I
that-
didn't change yours. Yours
Is that would be me? Is that how I do it?
yes.
What's going on there?
Last name and your,
Because I do not know my password.
at prairiecreek.org.
all small,
I
right?
knew my password, but I didn't know my sign in.
So I have this on my, I have an old phone that I just use.
It's just already
But
logged
it could
in.
be
Yeah,
Troy.
so I
Could be. That's what I'm trying to figure. I bet it is C.
Well, it says they'll send.
Uh-huh, I thought it was, even though I've been doing a lot of medical stuff, that they're all calling me John, I'm like.
And it's our regular
bad
password to
stuff.
log into our email.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay, and then that's,
Of course, I can change it.
at pryorcreek.org.
But now that I changed yours, I just changed it to welcome one with a capital W. But it's gonna, you'll have to redo it on your phone too.
4, 6. Okay.
welcome one. And then next.
Yeah.
And so if we want to go in and change it later, we can.
And then do we go to
It
next?
should ask you in a minute.
I don't know, I'm not even there yet.
Grab your phone and open your emails.
It's not on this phone, it's on another phone at home.
Oh, okay. So that's what it's wanting you to do is it's a multi-factor authentication type.
Enter your password.
On that phone, email address, or that email.
I think I know what my password is, but I'm gonna ask her for sure.
Password is gonna be capital W, welcome one.
Oh, that's what it's gonna be? Okay,
Oh, we're not entering our own password that we have it in our email?
I
okay.
don't think so. Are
I
you,
don't have
Courtney,
any
you
idea.
doing welcome one on all of them?
No, just the people that have reset.
No,
If you know your
no.
password, just type it in.
Do your password.
Okay,
Don't listen to me.
I'm gonna have to ask her a question. I think I know what mine is. I haven't used it in so long.
Oh, I can't.
That's okay. They all know I'm a dingbat anyway. But, it was,
Bypass it.
So go back and do it again. You got yours?
I'm good.
what I can't remember is where I put the capital letters in it.
And that's, do the one that you told me?
Yeah, welcome one with a capital W.
I'll wait till I get on and she can give me that here.
And then hit next?
Well, we
There
don't
you
need to
go.
do
Okay,
Am I
now
good?
hit accept and continue.
I'm going strong now.
Yep, you got it.
Here we go
Here
again.
we go.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Authority, same thing, we detected.
You just need time to refresh. Okay, try it again.
Do you have her passwords?
I can reset it.
Okay. I think I know what it is, but I don't know where the caps are. Let me try it. Let's see.
Yes, we
bro?
can try it.
Yeah.
Good.
I don't,
And you can click show password to see what you're typing as you type it.
Okay.
Do you need me to reset your password?
No.
Sure.
No, that's not right.
I'll do it when I get home. I got it written down at home.
I wonder if this will open now on this one, because it won't open.
Yeah.
Chris, I feel kind
We're
of
gonna
bad.
do
I'm
things
not even
special after this, right?
Yeah.
Got
I'm
beat you.
gonna
Okay.
It's still doing it.
You already changed your wallpaper. Look at you.
Well, it just, but I didn't ever get.
Wrong
login.
password.
I never got to the login screen.
It just went straight to that?
Yeah, and it went as guest.
Oh, that's why. Okay.
It's the same
Or you
thing.
get into Reaver to view your stuff.
Oh, I know.
Device that I turned in should
I
have.
do, and it does this forever, and then it'll, when it quits running, it just
I
goes
removed
blank
it.
page.
Does it really?
Yeah, the only
Mine,
thing
I've
that was
never
on
been
there
able to
was
get
a
into it. They've
Android
worked on it and
device,
worked
and
on
I
it.
removed that. The iPad wasn't.
Nothing
logged in.
really.
I just got a blank
So the
space.
Android device,
See,
you
let
remove
me check.
Android? Well, that's the one that I have at home, so how much?
There we are, Google search.
No, I removed it so it didn't ask you for that authorization.
Okay, oh, it's fast.
Okay, now type your email and stuff.
Oh, super, no problem, got it.
Troya, did you get yours?
No, I don't remember where I put the caps in, so.
Okay, I'll reset it.
Just let it run in the background, see how long it takes.
Okay, it's welcome one with a capital W, and then it'll ask you to change it once you get in.
Okay.
Oh, that's new. It's the first time it's ever done that.
Oh,
The number one?
Yeah.
All right, so I have to give a verification code, so how am I gonna do that?
I mean, once I do this, it should, if I'm at home, I should be able to just do it there, I think.
You about got it, Choya?
Working on it.
Good deal. Are you good?
Yep. 688,
Now, which one's?
668,
Hmm.
68, 65.
Did you break it?
Okay, yeah, you can just do it one if you.
Just couldn't
still
feel
wish
the
you
button.
logged in. Once you get
Oh,
home, just let me
yeah.
know.
Now, if you take your keypad and you flip it backwards,
Taken care of. But
It'll go
what
to
you should
tablet
have to
mode.
do is pull your emails up on your
You use it
phone and
just
it'll
like you
pop
did
up a
there.
notification that says, is this you? And you should click yes. it's
There you
me,"
go.
And then it'll.
Yeah, I've done that, like, when it's phone, I have a new phone, so the old phone, I have to do that.
to get on there. Okay.
So if it's the same thing, and once I'm on there, it should be,
Yeah, it should stay.
the only thing I'm gonna have to do is hook it up to the Wi-Fi at home, but other than that.
Yeah, and it should allow you to
Bam.
do that. So.
There I am.
Okay, everybody else logged in?
I think we're good.
Good, no problem.
Troy's create this password.
Almost there.
Got my.
This is where I'm at.
too.
You got your password?
Yep.
Or did you do
Yeah, I'm
this?
good.
Perfect.
My detachable keyboard needs a
I
critical.
think if you do this number, it'll get bigger. Too big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is fine, I was just reading what that.
Pretty nice though, aren't they?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, somebody always gets broken.
Yep, and this one's mine, that's hers. There you go.
Let's just have her come get it.
So.
That way we can make
where
sure
did the
she's
update
logged
go?
on.
You know what?
Yep. Yep, mm-hmm. Yep, okay.
Maybe I have to completely get out of it and come back in.
Security alert.
Android.
Toya, just let me know when you're done.
That's, we're about there.
On this thing.
I
Top
get it.
left-hand corner on the side,
Confirm.
on the screen,
Oh, I see.
top left-hand of the screen. And your volume buttons are on top.
What are you messing with?
That's your power button, this is your volume, she said.
It'll work.
Is that all we gotta do now?
I don't know.
Okay, open
It's
your
working.
emails now. And you should have an email from me just a few minutes ago, or a few seconds ago.
Oh, so are we gonna use these tonight?
I'm gonna show you guys something on here.
Ooh,
That works supposed to
you
be.
don't have the email already pre-done.
I turned it off and back on to see if maybe,
That's a good idea.
Maybe it's coming in. Let's
There it is, the M.
Yep.
So this moves really fast. You can change the settings so it doesn't move so fast.
There it is.
nope, same thing.
Okay.
Ooh, Cassell. We get to get in Cassell.
Okay, so
So where's
you
the
guys will click
update?
on the link that I sent you.
Yes.
Promise it's not spam or clickbait or anything.
We trust you.
I'm glad you trust me.
Which link?
It's that
One,
one.
the
blue-
Cassell one, right?
Yeah, the one I put
It
Casella
hadn't
Online.
populated on yours yet.
No.
Mine.
Oh, you gotta hit no thanks first,
Oh, okay.
and now it's loading. There it is.
I'm down.
Okay. All right.
Man, this Lenovo. Okay.
And then click on that.
They don't make, Google doesn't make their own thing, do they?
So, I have two options for you guys, basically. We have Cassell Online, which the department heads use right now, and they, are able to check account balances and such in real time. They love it, for as accurate as it can be, basically with like our stuff that we have to fix. Anyway, and then we actually learned about a different option that I have for you guys today. With one of the new Excel or Cassell things that we bought called My Excel. So you guys can look at those account balances right there, or I can share a spreadsheet with you every month that stays updated in real time with account balances for everything. But you guys have access to this, and I wanted to show you guys it, get you guys logged into it, and give you guys the option of which one you would prefer to utilize. I think the My Excel one is gonna be a lot easier for you guys to understand because Cassell Online gets kind of complicated sometimes. But it's up to you.
That's the actual
So
email.
here's to
And when you hit the link,
Yeah.
it open a new page.
Your username should be your, let me see what I set it up as.
We're still trying to connect.
Oh,
It's just spinning.
So where's the update?
Are you spinning or are you in?
No, I'm spinning. Says there's a critical update needed, but I don't know where to find it on here. Still spinning.
well, I guess you guys have to go with the other option because this one's not working. It's not the website, it's something with the link.
We overloaded. It's a touch screen too. Nice.
Sound like a plan. That'd be cheap.
There it says, now it says restarted.
Yeah, I've been using
Buddy, would you do it for 10?
Chase.
You have one of these set up in your truck, don't you? Don't you have one of these set up in your truck to get all the real life plans and drawings?
So in other words, it's a no.
Find whatever phone girls in the youth group are using. And that's the phone they
You're probably
get.
Drew, the old-fashioned spiral notebook one's in your pocket works better, doesn't it? You don't have to worry about being offline.
Okay, so the issue is you guys are connected to the public Wi-Fi instead of the private one, which you cannot have because of the Chromebooks. So you probably won't get to utilize this.
Can we use it from our home computer?
You can try it out and see. I don't think it's gonna work because it's trying to connect to our server where Cassell is hosted, and it's not able to do that since it's not the same Wi-Fi network. So try it and let me know, but I don't think it's gonna work.
I'll try it tonight.
So that leaves the other option that I found out about today. It'll give you guys the ability to see account balances in real time. I just have to build a spreadsheet first, so give me a few days, but I'll get that to you guys too. And that's all I got.
All right,
Thank you.
You're welcome.
good deal. Okay, so,
Work.
Wait a
good?
minute, something just.
Uh-oh, it popped up. Cassell's login finally popped up.
Yep, it just
Oh,
popped.
looky there. Okay, so it's gonna be your last name, first initial,
Okay.
and
it's because Buddy was talking trash about it.
Okay, so why?
Terry, refresh your page and then type the password as Pryor with a capital P.
Is that for everyone?
After I type it in.
Yeah, okay. I'm at Cassell.
With a capital P.
Yeah.
It's magic.
Try it.
Okay, now it's want me to change a.
Good.
You put the whole email address in as the user,
Just your,
just the first,
yeah.
okay, got it?
Yeah.
Current password is incorrect.
Okay, you guys all should be good now.
So we gotta put in Pryor
Didn't make, I
in
didn't.
the first one? And then we put a regular password in, or will that?
Yeah, whatever you want it to be.
Yeah, whatever you want it to be after that.
Okay. All right, why did that not work?
Prior, okay,
And then, yeah, go ahead and hit log in.
log in.
Okay, now.
Now, current password is prior. Right. And then new password. Oh, got it. Mhm.
That's your password, Randy?
Which one?
There you go. Now you'll type Pryor again, and then you'll change your password.
All right.
You can. What you doing, Bruce?
I lost it.
Oh, they don't match.
you can see what you did.
Yeah.
See what that does. Okay.
You good, Joya?
Working there.
You're on and good?
All right, now what I need to
Now
click
click
on.
on that link, and hopefully it doesn't take forever.
Mine just kept spinning.
We'll see.
Sure, you don't want anybody knows his is making a 35
Yeah,
character one.
it's a
That's good.
nice one.
You better remember it all when you type it back in.
Uh-huh.
Just write it down on the back of the notebooks.
That's the best place to put it.
Okay. That's the way mine did a while ago.
Yeah, it took everybody else's.
You're in.
while, but-
Let me do this.
You have everybody trying to hit it at the same time.
It shouldn't log it down like that. There it goes.
Okay, we got something.
Okay, so now you'll type Smith B for your username. And then the password is Pryor with capital P.
Notifications, my dashboard. My dash home.
And then log in.
He types the gospel method.
Hang on.
Seek and you shall find.
We'll do this now.
Yeah, you can just exit out. And then type Pryor with capital P again, and then you'll create your password.
Ooh, count list, activity, other one.
I know what I did.
Oh, count list, gotcha.
On the other side.
Well, look at you just getting extra training on that.
Yeah. You see where it says search?
Yep.
How can I set this up? Just
Down here.
Down
So
here where
you
I don't have
can't
to
do
go.
that,
You can.
but you can bookmark it,
She can explain it to us both.
I'm going, I think.
and
Right there.
then
Okay.
it'll
Yeah,
save
you
in
got
there.
that.
Did you
Oh,
save,
sweet.
auto-save your password?
Charter budget, oh,
It did,
Yep.
Google?
I don't think
Yep.
so.
You could do that, and then it'll autofill whenever you go to sign in.
That's pretty cool.
So what do you do to get it down?
Okay, so, everybody except Chris is logged in. This is your dashboard. You can customize this by clicking the little settings gear in the top right.
How the hell do I get rid of that now?
I would recommend adding the account watch list. That's probably gonna be the only thing that you guys really utilize here because,
Okay.
Okay.
it's the only thing you have access for. So, is Jeremy still out there?
Jeremy?
I just wanna make sure he's listening when I pick on him. Okay. Okay.
I can't successfully change my password.
Oh, okay. We can watch every move he makes now, right?
On a monthly basis, but not an hourly
Oh,
basis,
I want
basically.
mine hourly.
Okay, yeah, add account watch list. It's the first one on that blue hyperlink. And then click back on your dashboard real quick. The house. Here, okay.
Boy, I live
You can exit out of this in the weekly hours and it'll keep it off of your dashboard. It doesn't really matter for those. Okay, so on the account watch list, click on add accounts, where that drop-down arrow is, and type in O2. You have to put the dashes, dash 215.
Did
All
the
right,
same thing.
what'd I do?
I don't know what you did.
I logged out of that last one and
Oh.
just left everything.
You took it off.
Oh, okay, all right.
5013 is the one I'm gonna click on.
Hit okay.
Get it? So this is how you add accounts
Put that
to,
in the bookmark.
check them out, to look at them too.
And I'll
Uh-oh.
go over
Type
here
the
and
account
say
number in.
settings.
And it'll pull up what it is.
But we have to know what the account numbers are to type.
But you can also search, so I could search. Overtime, and pull up that, and you'll just have to kind of go through there. But that's also something that I need to clean up, verbiage for, so you'll click add, and then it'll show up.
It went the token in. Oh, no.
Oh, that's fine.
Oh, that's one of it, okay. Now let's see if they'll work.
Okay, there we go.
That's better, and,
Try it again.
okay.
I don't know if it'll be Pryor or your password. Did you get, an account?
Yeah, sure did.
Yeah, he's just playing now.
Yeah, I'm just kind
Okay.
of browsing.
He's advanced level.
Oh,
Click OK. Well, okay, type it again.
It's not taking this long.
connected device.
215, yeah.
Okay, click on it,
Currently,
and then click OK.
That's what I did.
And now click add.
it's touch,
Okay, so now the majority of you got it pulled up.
searching,
Yep, and hit add.
security.
Okay, so that's how you add an account number to view. So now it'll tell you the year-to-date, what we budgeted, and how much is remaining in that account number.
Is that as of the end of the month?
That is as of, okay, so, good question. See that little settings gear right there? Click that under account watch list, and this will tell you what period you're looking at. So if you click on it
That'll work a lot better.
and change it to, February.
This week.
Let me scroll down. Yeah, okay. So it's gonna automatically populate to whatever, month I'm currently working on while I'm closing the month out. So that's why it automatically has January. So that's as of February. So as of today.
How do you change it to February?
The little settings gear in the account watch list box, like right here,
Oh, it's a Linux.
and just change this.
Oh, okay.
And then that shows you the amounts.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mine's just populated through January 31st, not
Scroll
February.
down.
I don't think it will, oh, sorry.
It's really confusing on these for some reason. It's like
Oh,
down
it went up
is
too far.
up. There it is.
Right there?
Yeah. And then hit save. And if you check that include encumbrances box, of course, it'll show you anything that's been encumbered for that account number, if anything.
Where's that at?
Fishing pole.
Under the settings gear,
Fishing pole was a whole lot easier.
Yeah.
that box right there.
Okay, thank you.
But that also means that any blankets that we have will show up, as if the money had already been spent out. Okay, so now you've got it ready. So settings gear, we're gonna add account watch list. I'm gonna let you do it from here so you learn.
Okay.
Oh, I did the wrong one. This will stay like this from now on. Okay, click add accounts. Now type in 02 dash 215 dash 5013. If you guys are wondering, it's police overtime account that I pulled up.
All right,
Hit
hit
OK.
okay.
Yep. Oh, sorry, I told you wrong. Click it, type it again.
Oh.
You have to click on the account number.
You need me to come over and help you this
Okay,
week?
so it's
instead of
02.
doing it online?
Salaries.
Dash 201
215.
Once I get
or
it,
215.
it recognizes me, I have a,
Sure, it's pretty easy once you get your thing you need.
Dash
yeah.
5013.
5013. 013.
Now click on police overtime
It's just.
Okay.
Without having my
and then hit
other
OK.
device, so kind of,
Now hit add.
and it may be because I'm locked out on an Android.
Okay, so now you can see how much
Okay.
we spent year to date, the budget, and how much we have
Same
remaining.
as on your
Mhm.
account.
And then click the little settings here right there.
Those is all.
I'll poke you.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's automatically gonna populate for whatever period I'm working in
Change down here to
financially.
February.
Yeah, so if you wanna see up to date, as of today, you're gonna scroll.
You gotta move it.
Been running
scroll.
kind of hour.
Okay, let me get
You
back
should be
over.
able to just move it somewhere within this box too.
Huh,
Here's the little,
Do it on this side of the,
That's it right here.
this side of the mouse.
You got it all figured out, Bruce?
I've got it, no problem.
Okay, because Angie just sent me a text and
Learn how
said,
to turn it on.
Angie just sent me a text, said she isn't gonna help you. She said you had all your stuff in a pile, you needed to clean it up.
Probably right.
She'll help him. She'll just give him a hard time first.
See, it's backwards.
Oh, okay, all
That's
right.
the settings thing too.
So just drop it
She'll
over.
blackmail him a little
And
bit.
then hit save.
You'll have to bribe her with something.
All right, now you can see.
Angela emailed me too.
All right, thank you.
Angela emailed me too.
So this is great. It also exports out,
Yeah, I saw that.
but
16,000.
it's an Excel spreadsheet. It doesn't look like our financial
Right.
statement.
No problem.
That is fun.
Something else that's really fun about these is,
So would you sent me that just so I know how to do it at home?
no, I sent it to everybody.
Oh,
See, I sent it.
card over there on those hospitals, that's more.
Sorry, I'm messing it.
no,
But I
you're
sent it
not
to-
messing it up.
I sent
That's
it to
quick.
city council email.
Emails PDF.
This is just gonna take some
City
planning.
council's not on this
Well,
one, I
yeah.
sent it to my personal. So is that set up to my personal?
No, if your personal email address is in the city council group, then yeah, it went to your personal too.
Okay.
That's gonna have to be fixed. If you guys wanna know
don't
something
care if it goes to
about
both, it don't
a certain
bother me.
expenditure, for
Let's see if we
example,
can
say,
get it over the phone.
I don't know.
Our current situation with
We
this.
don't have to do that one again. Let's do,
Oh, okay, let's do it over there.
yeah.
Wow. It's letting me do it from my personal.
Yeah, it's a web-based platform.
I really don't
So-
wanna access it from my personal phone.
There's nothing, it's all a view only thing, so you're not gonna mess up anything.
Oh, if it's view only, then I don't care.
Yeah. I would, all due respect, I would never give you guys access to modify any of my financial records.
Good.
View only.
That's one relief.
Wonderful thing.
Let's see.
Was it in trouble with all the goes? I missed the O and P. So I was doing the passwords over.
So this is all I'm gonna need here, right? Whoops, touched it.
You're okay. Trying to find a good account number.
You
Okay.
know one thing, glasses.
Yeah, that's a
Uh,
good one.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
020004265.
It's a new level of transparency.
Yes, it is. Somebody has a question, go.
You ever seen this kind of
Add
transparency?
another account and do O2.
New level of
Actually,
transparency for
it
you.
might be a little
Sure.
easier. Type add
Yeah.
account, or click on add account,
And a paper
type
saver
SRO.
too.
Paper saver?
Okay.
Yeah.
What is that like?
The paper.
There.
Nope,
paper.
okay, hit backspace. And let's just type the account number.
Your foosball player.
O2 dash 000
Okay,
4265.
there you go.
That one. Click on it first, and then, it's really confusing because it's highlighted in dark blue, and you would think that that means it's selected, but it's not. 4265. Will you add that to yours too?
History.
I wasn't listening, I'm sorry.
It's okay. 02000
Cell Connect.
4265.
So you gotta make it light color then.
Yeah, you gotta
That's
make it light
backwards.
blue. It is backwards, it's crazy.
Okay.
Will you pull this one up? I wanna show you something too.
Okay. No problem.
So let's add
I'll just go right here
the,
and go to my Cell Connect online.
see how it changed to light blue?
Mm-hmm.
That's actually selected even though it's opposite. And then we want 000.
Okay. So you can tell how much was spent at school?
So I'm gonna show you something really cool.
Okay. But the numbers are the same.
They are, there's no budget for this, but,
Oh,
click add.
all right.
Okay, so now click on the, where it says public schools SRO reimbursement,
Mm-hmm.
click on that. Go to home.
Gotcha.
See, Zach tried to train you, but Zach doesn't quite know everything I'm doing.
Oh, no.
It's because nobody took time
And
to
then
teach
tab.
me.
Account, on the account watch list, we want to type right here, O2, you have to put the dashes because it's
Yep.
picky, 0004265.
Dash
Yeah,
4265.
yeah. Then click on that and hit OK. And then hit add.
Gotcha.
Okay, so now you can click on the SRO.
Yep.
Okay, so now you guys can see,
Yep.
every
look.
transaction that happens within that account. So right now you guys are looking at all of the money that we brought in from the SROs. Every check that we deposited
Sure.
is showing up right there.
Super.
You can do that on various things like purchase orders and stuff. You can
Yep.
see what everything is. And it'll drill down a little further too, depending on what it is. These aren't going to because it's cash
That'd be your
received
hit
things.
list right there.
But, yeah.
Will we be able to? pull up
This
this
Casella
report?
Online does not run this report whatsoever. It does have an export function,
But that report looks so.
but it's
different.
literally just an Excel spreadsheet.
Remember the one I gave you at the street department the other night, that had, the street meeting looked a little goofy? That's what it'll turn out to look like.
So this is really just something for you guys to view and look at right there, not necessarily run reports or anything. Now that's for real, all I have.
Thank you.
All right.
Courtney.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Outstanding.
All right, so if you have any questions, hit up Courtney. Thank you. And also those cases are to go with your deal, and thank you to Google for that. All right, item number 3, discussion regarding city finances with Jeff Colker.
So, you guys have this from the last time?
Yes.
Yeah, I made sure they had a copy.
Nothing really has changed on this.
You haven't looked at that 53, right? You haven't messed with that 53? Okay.
50 what?
We're pretty much done with January's financials.
But nothing in the general fund?
No.
Okay, that's all I matters. Okay. All right, so basically, kind of what I went over the last time. But now we can ask questions, which is great. This first column has the information through January 24, and our net expenses over revenues are 798,000. Now, I project for February through June about only $10,000. Of course, these are averages, so we'll have to see how that works. It could be better, it could be worse. But that would give us about a 810,000 overall net overage of expenses. And if you look, our revenues are almost identical to what they were the year before. I mean, we're talking,
Jeff, I'm sorry, which piece of paper are you looking at?
This one right here.
January.
it says January on top?
The one you gave us at the council meeting?
Yeah. Nothing's changed since then. So 810 difference. Our revenues projecting to be about almost identical, a little less, 19,000 less, perhaps. Our expenses are looking to be about 200 and some thousand, is that two? Yeah, 250,000 thereabouts, 260,000 less than they were last year, which is good. But still, I mean, this is where we're at right now. So if in the best case scenario, what you'd like to do is erase 800,000 of deficit in 5 months, like 4 months now.
So we need to cut $800,000 in 5 months.
We need to, well, I mean, that would be the ideal, to get down to zero. To get down to a net income of zero, we need to lower this projection by 800,000.
And by taking it down to zero, down to zero, that would give us the same budget authority as we have this year, right?
That is correct, that's what it would do.
So, going into the fiscal year, and I don't remember when you made this comment, Jeff, to be honest with you. You said what we need to focus on this year was trying to save 1.2 million. Is that out the window at this point? Do
Well,
we need to forget
okay.
about that number and focus on just the 800,000 and to try to save next year's budget?
Well, when I said 1.2, I was projecting that basically we were going to overspend by 1.2. But we've cut that down some,
To
800,000.
your projection,
Projection
800,000.
800,000. So basically what I'm saying is somehow we've managed to cut 400 projected.
So your guidance is tonight, going forward, is to try to figure out a way.
Save as much,
save
or
800,000
raise
or as
additional
much.
revenues.
I think that's the discussion we need to be having, is how do we raise additional revenues?
Yeah, I mean,
And
your
you-
options are raise revenue, cut expenses, or combination of the both. And that's what you have. So raising revenues would be great if we could do that.
Can you give us your thoughts on how to raise revenues? I mean, obviously, I don't think anyone here wants to raise sales taxes
No,
anymore.
but
But-
that is an obvious.
Is there, what are the various ways we can do so? I know there was an email we got from Jared, based on the last council meeting, where he actually said something about some type of tax on on a utility, and he actually said, get with you and Chase on that.
Yes, okay. There are fees and there are taxes. Taxes require a vote of the people. The fees do not. Taxes would be a percentage of revenue.
Mhm.
Fees would be like a fixed, flat fee of whatever, like an admin fee or something. Either way, those are options that the utility board is willing to put on there, but it really doesn't cost them anything because it would be a pass-through from them to you. So another thing is that perhaps to look at, I mean, they give the city money. They give 770-some thousand, and that number has been approximately there for several years, many years. I can't remember how long it's been like that, but it's been that way for a while. So that might be a topic of discussion as to perhaps the utility department is bringing in more money. They're growing, the rates are going up, so they're charging more. So perhaps the city could benefit from some of that as well. You know, the charter requires that MEB distribute some of their profits. Now, there is no amount other than 80, there's an 80-20. They distribute 80% of the excess if they have an excess. But what they do is they give a flat amount right now, and then the excess is, their excess is, that's part of the 80% that you get, and then their 20% is whatever that figures out to be. So that is an adjustment that could be made.
Jeff, to
Does that
understand,
require a vote, I'm sorry, does that require a vote of the people?
No,
Or
that doesn't.
that's just a council approving it?
The conversations are, just so everybody's aware, the conversations are taking place already.
Okay.
And there's nothing been set in stone, so just know, there's nothing been decided, but as we talked about, what would qualify as a tax, if we said 5% of the total bill, then we're looking at a possible tax scenario. If we look at the fact that we have, so we have roughly 15,000 meters in the city, right? So each residence is gonna have 3 meters. And so as we look at those, the discussion would be something like, if we were to say, arbitrary numbers here, okay? $5 per meter. So yes, that would add $15 per month to everybody's bill, but that would then be allowed to come to us. What that would do is that would take that 775 and put it closer to $1 million.
so whatever we look at, it's either cut expenses or raise taxes or however you wanna call it. If we go to the utility department and say we need 700,000, they're gonna give it to us and then tax it on the utility bill.
Well,
And that's what I don't like.
I don't know if the agreement right now is that they give you a cut of the profits. That's just
Yes.
the way it is. Now, it's the 80-20 rule, and 80% actually comes to the city after all of their expenditures, and that includes lots of things, not just expenses, but fixed assets, extensions and stuff like that. And then they could put up to 20% of the reserves. So technically, if they increase that, I'm not really sure necessarily can just add that to the bill. So that's not really a bill add-on. Now, some of these things, like if we did an admin fee or a meter fee or something like that,
Stormwater fee.
that would not be an add-on to their bill. That would just be an extra charge that's on there. They would collect the money, and then they would turn around and submit.
Yeah, but what I'm talking about is the people. It's gonna cost me.
No, I understand. Now, the first scenario may not, because that's just a distribution of profits. And it's an
Okay.
That's what
increase.
what I was gonna ask. It can't, under your first scenario, we could just take more money from MUB
Well,
without MUB
they could
going
do it
and
too.
charging more money.
Yeah, they could give you more.
Well,
I'm not sure we can't.
Take it,
yeah.
give it, whatever.
Yeah,
some
but
annex
there's
there.
no,
But we could do my point being, we could do that without them then assessing additional costs to the.
as far as, I mean, that's a distribution of profits that they've already earned, and so therefore, I don't think that's something that they would necessarily charge. Now, I'm not speaking for them here, I haven't had these discussions with them at all, but that's normally what that money is, it's a distribution of profits from them. Okay, so that's not something that is an assessed fee that's necessarily charged, because you don't charge for profit, you just basically charge for the service. Now, so that may not necessarily affect your bill. Can't guarantee it, but in theory, that it shouldn't. The fees, yes. Any additional taxes, yes. They would affect the bill. But something has to be done eventually. We have to have more revenues. So someone's going to pay for it, or we have to cut expenses. And then, well, one, certain select people will be targeted for that, probably. But also, a reduction of services would also be a cost. It's not a direct financial cost, but it would be a cost to the citizens of Pryor.
Right.
Have we been saving money by keeping the hiring freeze on?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure, yeah. I mean, that's one of the reasons why you're down from 1.2 or 1.3 when I first started doing this to 800,000 or so. Yeah, I mean, we have saved money, more than I actually kind of thought at this point, but, yeah. I mean, I will continue to do this each month. February closes today.
The month closes today, but not our financials. Just to clarify, I'm not that
Yes.
fast.
I know, but I will be calling.
That's fine.
Is this, from what I can gather, we're not the only city that's hitting this same kind of,
Probably, I mean, probably not. There are other cities that have financial issues too, some probably a lot worse. A lot of it depends upon just their location, the scenario, what they've got, what they've had, things like that. But you're right, you're not the only one, but.
is this part of this due to the inflation that we're facing?
Well, I'm sure that last year, your expenses went up fairly significantly. Fuel, insurance, of course, we did have pay raises, but that was probably part of it, but yeah. So you actually were a victim of the inflation. Your sales tax, your total revenues are flat, but your expenses, a lot of it beyond your control, but not all of it, but a lot of it beyond your control went up. Because you can't control the insurance. I mean, not really. You can't control fuel, you can't, there's just, yeah.
Jeff, am I understanding that if the very best could happen and we beg, borrow, steal money from MUB, that we're gonna be no more if we make it to the same carryover we had this year?
To get to the same carryover, this 800,000 has to go away.
And that will just give us the same.
Same carryover that we had last year.
9.387 million.
But if you could actually get to that zero, that would be a good step to actually improving the situation even more, I would think. Because if you're already there, then it's not that much of a change to make it a positive. Whereas when we were at 1.2 million last time, it's hard to get down to zero, you know, so it's difficult. So if we can remove this would be great. If we can get it down to zero, that would be, but I'm not sure that will be possible without cutting costs or additional sources of revenues.
So it's kind of really, this is not next day addressed to you, but it's up to the people. Do they want to pay more for what they've got? Or do they want to cut and lose less? That's where we're at. What does the people think? That's what we're going to have to find out.
And to piggyback that, the people, if the people are gonna have to sacrifice doing that, they're gonna look at us as spendy and not doing our part to save more out of our budget, just like households can't have to cut if they don't have the income coming in.
Yeah, exactly right.
And if we went with a scenario, Jeff and Mr. Mayor, about the MUB side of the house, whether it be a fee or extra from them, that wouldn't be until the new fiscal year. That wouldn't be something now.
I don't see why you could actually start doing this, whatever. Now, the tax, if it had to be voted by the people, you've got to go through all the notices and stuff like that, and that has to be voted. So, yeah, that's going to take a while. The fees could start
April.
Okay.
So the encouragement from MUB was, and again, you know, I don't speak for them or in their behalf, but was we would have to make a decision so that he could get it to his board and approved by April, which is when they typically make their rate changes. So if it's adding something like a fee,
Relatively
or,
soon.
yeah, it would go as soon as they make that.
And the distribution of profit change, same thing, really. If they decided, you could ask them about that, and they could.
What do you call that, distribution of profit?
Yeah, I mean, that's, I guess what it is.
Surplus revenues.
Yeah, surplus revenues.
Surplus revenue is how it's titled in your charter.
And if we do go this route of putting fees on, again, it's gonna look to the citizens of Pryor out there and the ratepayers of MUB that we haven't been doing due diligence to keep our housekeeping in order financially and passing that on to them. And if we do that, though, I would think that it's gonna look very bad on us of not doing our diligence to ensure that we start keeping our housekeeping in order by cutting more and trying to keep our budget within our budget. And not be, just because we get extra money, that doesn't mean we're gonna need to go out and start spending it on other projects and such. And then if we did go this route, is this gonna affect just the general fund or everything within the city as a whole, i.e. the street department, the rec center, and the golf course to save money?
No, the
To
answer.
show the taxpayers that we're saving money.
So the answer to that is, when we take that to the MUB board, they're gonna wanna know where it's going, where it's gonna be allocated, what it's gonna be used for, how much, why. The scenario, there's a lot of scenarios that have been talked about between MUB and myself. You know, we look back at 2017, I believe, is when we added our quarter percent sales tax. You know, the concerns then were exactly the same as they are now. And let me be very clear, I do not find any desire in putting a taxation on. I don't, that's not something I'm saying, we're gonna do it, let's do it, let's tax speed. That would be absolutely false if anybody claimed that that's how I felt. But we realized in 2017 that we hadn't had any increase to our general fund since 1986. So the problem we were in is, you know, we were in the same boat then as we are now. And if you recall, that was another era of inflation, that was another era of recession. Those were the things we're seeing now were going on then. And, you know, previously they had tried these votes, They'd gone to a vote of the people for a tax increase. You correct me if I'm wrong, but those votes were continually the people saying no,
Yep.
no. Usually it was 1,800 no's to 200 yeses. And so when we came out about that, we knew that we needed it because we were in the same boat then that we are now. And the math to that was the education piece. You know, there are things we can cut. There are those housekeeping things that you talk about that we need to do. That's our responsibility. But as we looked at that, we realized that the elephant in the room was, it's still not enough. We still, you know, if we're operating on 1986 revenues and we have a 2017 fire engine blow, we got problems. We're up a creek. You know, and right now we're in a situation where previous to this administration, our reserves were deplenished. I mean, embarrassingly so. And so now we are in a situation where we need to work on our reserves. So that's going to require us to create revenues. How do we do that? We sell off assets. We sell off properties. We sell off whatever we can responsibly declare surplus that we don't need. We still have a police station that we're trying to work with the EDTA to market, and they've been marketing that very diligently. We've got properties throughout that we're trying to market and get that done. We have contracts that we're just starting some negotiation process to see what we could get out of selling some of these contracts that we have that really aren't bringing us much now.
Meaning cell phone tower rentals.
Contracts, I'll just leave it at that respectfully. And so as we go forward, we're in a situation where we need to look at do we need an increase in revenues? That's the question you guys have to ask yourselves. You know, and in 2017, that's what we did. And we put forth the effort to educate the public, and we told them exactly where it was gonna go. We said exactly how much it was and how much was gonna go to this and what it would be used for and where it would stay. And when we went and took that to the people, we had 1,800 yeses and 200 nos. So, you know, as we go through and we think things may or may not be, you know, as Mayor Trammell used to say, political suicide, maybe that's not the case if we let the people know the truth. Now, that's where the council's got to decide what really measures we have to do, even if they're uncomfortable. And again, I'm not saying one way or the other, but to just automatically jump to cut it all, we need to respectfully think about, are we in that situation again where we're operating on revenues that don't fit our economy?
Well, you know, at the very beginning of this conversation, and I appreciate everything you said, Mayor, and I agree with most of that. At the very beginning, you know, I think it was you that said the problem we're having is inflation.
That,
As a significant piece of the problem we're having is because of inflation. And I don't think mitigating our pain should be eliminated by increasing the citizens' pain. And that's what we're doing. They're feeling the same effects of that inflation. And if we're start assessing fees and additional taxes on them, it's taking money out of their pockets to line our pockets. And I guarantee you there are families out there in this city right now who are scraping by right now because of inflation.
yeah, I'm not sure I like the term lining your pockets, because that's not really.
That's what we're, well,
You're,
no, that's what,
you're basically trying to provide the same coverage of services that you provide.
okay, then again, it's a matter of semantics. I'm not gonna get involved in that. But what I'm saying is we should not mitigate our pain by increasing their pain. And
To do that, though, we'll have to drop some of their services. You either got the money to pay for it or you don't have the money to pay for it, one of the two.
Yeah, and I don't like the idea, if we could get money from the utility department without costing the citizens anything, that would be
Exactly.
one thing.
If they're
It's not
generating
gonna
a
happen.
surplus
It's gonna
revenue.
add on somewhere else.
It's got to, I mean, you
And
can't.
there's not gonna
you
be, I
can't
don't wanna
just
do a sneak attack on
print
it.
money, so that's not gonna happen.
Well,
I am listening to what several of you are saying, and I believe I'm in agreement with what I'm understanding you to be saying. My idea is this. It may come to that, but I don't want it to come to that until we've done everything that we have possibly done to make sure we're not wasting anything. Do our best to trim things that don't need to be spent. Do everything we can, because I can't expect sacrifice from the citizens if we're not being fiscally responsible, if that makes sense.
So can we throw proposals out tonight?
We can talk about just about anything we want,
You can't vote on anything tonight.
but there's
So
no
we
action.
can throw ideas out?
Yeah, I think, yeah.
Well, you know what, I'll go on record tonight, I recommend that the council zero out its pay. This city council does not receive another penny in $100 every 2 weeks. But we've got a $24,000 budget for city council salaries. Let's zero that out for the rest of the year and zero it out next year. That's a start. And maybe if we're not getting paid to do it, we'll start doing a little bit more due diligence on looking for other ways to cut costs here. And we're setting a good example that we're trying. I do have a question for Chase, if I
Yep.
could.
What you got?
The grocery tax that went away, is that going to impact the municipalities' revenues
I think it will.
and negatively?
Yeah, that's been the argument against it, is basically rural Oklahoma. I know in Salina, we've talked about it. I think there was a lobby against it on behalf of most rural municipalities. There was an argument it won't. I tend to be on the side it may. But I don't think we will know until it goes into effect, I guess is a good way to say it. There's arguments, there's been studies on both sides of how it should come out.
It was just doing away with the state
The
sales
state's
tax.
portion.
Yeah, I still am concerned about it, I'll say that. There's studies on both sides of it that will go both ways. They ultimately voted it in, so.
You know, our hope with that is that the general public will say, hey, I'm saving money on groceries.
And
I'm
buy
gonna shop local like crazy.
Get more,
But yeah,
But, you know, I think what we're looking at is that time will have to tell on that one.
Yeah, I think that's the right answer to that. There's not a yes or no at this point.
I would think it would be almost neutral.
And it might be, it might not make a change.
You know, just keep in mind, it's not removing the city's, the municipal's portion of that, which we get anyway. It's that 4 point whatever percent of the state.
4.5%?
Yeah,
I don't know the
4.5% of the states.
4.5.
But, you know, time will tell on that one.
And they have to re-vote on it in a year. They had a 2-year moratorium on it, and they enacted last year's bill, so it only has a year of life before it has to be reconsidered. So like Chase said, you'll have time to look at that. For the effects of it.
Mayor?
Yes, sir.
Back to my comment and question a while ago, I didn't get a straight or clear and concise answer. If we do whatever we need to do to cut back, whether it be cutting out spending, it cut back on services, be a fee on the tax, on the ratepayers of MUB, again, are we gonna be just concerned about the general fund or any funding at all from any city department to include rec center and golf course? To cut back there in those areas also, because that is paid for out of our sales tax
But
revenue that goes towards that.
the general fund is really the only fund that's in trouble. It's the only one that has a legal requirement for the budget like we have right now.
Well, where I'm going at with that is, it's gonna be on the park department agenda for next Monday night's special meeting to do, for an expenditure of over, I think, $150,000 approximately for trail, or for golf cart bridges or something to that effect. Now, I don't know if that's all paid for by a grant, but to me, $150,000 there to the people out in the community, they're thinking, well, why are we spending this money going like that if we're in a financial situation? And they're also talking about, and you very well know, about spending a big expenditure for some design to tell us what we need to do with Whitaker Park, which, to me, that's not a necessary expense right now if we're out of money.
Well, that was voted no. So let me answer your question. The primary concern is the general fund. The primary direction of where those monies would be earmarked, that would be saved or whatever, would be to the general fund. My personal opinion on that is, those things that we save, and this information comes from Jeff, would be that we don't earmark those anywhere right now, and we let those become reserve. If we were to sell a property, we let that become reserve. We need to build those reserves back up. If something traumatic, heaven forbid, happen, let's hope it's less than 150,000 at this point. That's what we were all left with, as we came into this. We need to get those back up closer to the almost 2 million that they were. So, we start there. That gives us a little bit of room to breathe, right? Is it the cure-all? No, but it gives us a little bit of room to breathe. We have to figure out, though, that point where we still have business to do. We still have a city to run. We still have to maintain a golf course. And so I go back to the discussion about the sales tax increase in 2017 and what was pinnacle there. If we, and by we, I mean everybody in this room, Courtney, Lisa, Lori, every one of the council up here, Chase, Jeff, even Mr. Allward back there in his media, we have a responsibility to properly educate the public. And part of that properly educating the public is understanding what accounts have what rules behind them. There are very distinct rules. The general fund, we refer to that as the O2 because the first two numbers in the designation of that account are O2. Anything that falls under O2 is general fund. Everything else is not included in this conversation. If we say Fund 68, Fund 44, Fund 14, those are not included in the general fund. For those that are unaware, those designations, again, designate whether it's whatever we call it, whatever name we've given it, whether it's the whatever. There's so many things. 14 would be streets, or we've got the Main Street bond money. We've got all of those have a designation of a number, 48 to whatever. In your comment about the golf course is not in O2 account. So educating the public that that fund itself is not one that we're stressing over right now. Part of his business is, I don't know who's been out there, but when you drive across those bridges, you wonder if there's a 200-pound weight limit because they look like they're
I'm
gonna
just
fall.
saying that there's going to be a perception to the public.
Right, and that
And
perception.
an image to the public that,
Right, and that perception, that image is the responsibility of the council and every city employee, or anybody that's contracted with this there to help the public understand what the structure of the municipal financing is. And we have to remember that municipal financing, if there were an OML class, I would gladly send anybody that wanted to go to it because you'll learn a whole lot about how quick it is to get in trouble. But you also learn a lot about what accounts specifically have legal bindings to them. And it's not at all like your home account at all. Wouldn't you say that's fair to say?
it's complicated.
It's complicated.
Well, you can't move money from one pile into another pile just
So-
because this one's.
Correct. So and I'm not sharing this for a large discussion about, how we feel about whether it was right or wrong. But what I'm saying is when the general fund a time ago took money and transferred it into the golf account, well, that's the only direction it gets to go. It cannot come back into without what? A prayer?
Yeah, pretty much.
So if we gave that to that enterprise fund, or we take 100,000 and we send it over to the rec, ooh,
If the enterprise doesn't,
we just gave them a bonus that we don't get back. So,
they don't have to.
so whether or not the golf course or the rec or whoever got money from the general fund, we don't get to go, well, let's take that back and use it somewhere else. It's like a grant. We got to do what the law says we have to do.
It's difficult, yeah.
So it's our responsibility, to explain that to people. And if you aren't sure, that's okay. They have classes. These people do these classes and they teach. We would go,
You have a city clerk that knows quite a bit and likes to do research if she doesn't know too. You could always ask me.
you stole my thunder, city clerk.
Sorry.
But the idea is, yes, I mean, there are those things, but
get
we
paid
do
for
have
this.
these classes that are informative. And it is beneficial, very financially beneficial to send people to those courses. Because if you don't know what you're doing, you're not a big help. But it is our responsibility to teach.
It's like the rec center. The rec center gets a sales tax that was voted by the people. You can't change that. And so that money goes there regardless of how the general fund is or was or will be. It's just gonna go there. And then the user fees that they get are part of their stuff too. So they have their money. What they spend it on is how they operate their system, and it has nothing to do with the general fund. And it may appear that they're spending money on something that, you think, well, why can't they? They can't. They can't give it back to the general fund because that would basically be violating the sales tax because, once they get the sales tax money, it's theirs. That would be us reallocating the people's vote for the sales tax, which would probably not go over too well.
Same thing with the street.
Same with street, some of the other funds that get sales tax money, yeah, it's pretty much there.
Back what we were discussing general fund in the beginning, we're at the point we either tax the people in some form, way, fee, whatever, or we reduce services. That's the only two things I know that's gonna make it work. I don't know what that answer is. I don't know how much we can reduce. I've got one thing, and Mayor, I'm not gonna make you mad over it, but the school could help us out of this a lot on the police side, and I hope they will. I know that Jeremy's talked to them. If they would support those 5 SROs, their overtime and their fee, that'd help maybe the city come out and give us another man on the street.
Well, and
I hope that happens.
as we discussed just moments before this in the peaceful,
Yeah,
Bruce, as we
doesn't happen very often.
peacefully discussed. Peacefully discussed. It was great. I think he even took a piece of candy with that one. But, I explained, and I don't want to get too far off topic to what he said, but, Chief Cantrell did go talk to the school board. And I had an opportunity, and I'm not going to speak for the school. I'm not going to insinuate. I'm not going to say anything than the conversation that took place, was that they were very pleased with the presentation. He was very well prepared, and it went well. Is the conversation that I had with the superintendent. What they decide to do is on them, but we went to them and we presented our case. Here's basically, would you say the overtime used that was allotted for the school, right? And so. Yeah. And it was he did a good job. He was well prepared. And again, the school was satisfied with what he shared. What the result is, that's on the school. And I'm not going to go down that road. But those are conversations that are happening every day. Those conversations are taking place behind the scenes. As we talk about the cost of repairs at facilities, the conversations with Willowbrook to say, hey, here's what we've got. Here's the problems we have. We brought in Seth Jacobson, I think is his name, sorry, for no cost to the city, basically played the intermediate and said, this is the problem, this is the problem. He took them up into the crawl space, and if you've never met Seth, he's a pretty big dude. But he took Brenna and her team up in there, the subcontractors up in there. A lot of those repairs have already been remediated. So when we jumped to the panic of, oh my gosh, all this cost, sometimes we need to stop and be patient and wait and see what happens, because we want to maintain those relationships. That's part of being responsible with our finances, is maintaining those relationships with those vendors and things. We've had several instances where just bringing somebody in and talking to them and trying to work things out, we've been able to remediate some of those things that could have been a traumatic cost by just jumping to a conclusion. And so, I'm grateful that Seth was there for us and did that. I'm also grateful that, we got an email saying that the sub was gonna fix a lot of those. That saved us a tremendous amount of money. And so, you know, as we get to the point where that is finalized and we can finally go to the public and say, here's the total cost of what it would have been, and now that it's all done, here's what we were able to mitigate off, rather than saying, well, we got a little here and a little here. I don't think that's being responsible either. We get it all done, then we come back. And so those are the things that we need to make sure we're adding to the discussion when we look at some of these costs. How are they mitigated? You know, the one the other night with the street department meeting, street meeting, we realized that some of the asphalt overlay had been left off of one of the projects. And the question came up, well, who let this happen? Well, let's look at all the hands that went through. That started before I was in office and before some of you were in office, before Chase was our attorney. And it went through those, and then we came back and we changed it. And the first week in office or second week in office, we made more changes again and again, and we knew engineer and now a new attorney. And oh my gosh, all the chaos going on, but we didn't pay for anything we didn't receive. So we still have funds that were allocated out from the EDTA through their generosity. We also have funds from the change order when we allowed the maintenance agreement with West 510 and Darrell Yoder, which is about $53,000. The end result was later that evening, Dale called back and said that Dunham's Asphalt agreed to give us the price and labor of the asphalt when the project was bid, which was back in May. So when, again, we didn't pay for anything we didn't get. Now we just have to pay for what we need to be done. And they've agreed to come back and do it in a timely manner that fits the project. So, you know, sometimes we need to just stop the panic and the freaking out about stuff and sit down responsibly and say, here's how we need to do this. And I would venture to say, between the two, we've saved quite a bit of money in something that could have been chaotic. Things are going to get missed. Errors are going to be made. That's why we have due process. We check it out, we look. But again, it's being responsible and sometimes just making sure we have all the facts before we reach the panic mode.
I have a couple of questions that we have, let's call it reserve, or what we have in the bank that's not encumbered. How much general fund money do we have in the bank that is not encumbered at this time?
Well, let me pull that up.
And my second question would kind of go in with that. We're having these, and I know we're trying to push back the general fund payments on these past due invoices as much as possible, and I understand the reasoning behind that. But how much of a negative impact are some of these things that are coming in, how much is that gonna impact our current budget? Because we didn't plan for that, we didn't know it was coming.
Well, a lot of those are gonna be paid for out of funds from other funds.
Right.
So I'm not sure yet the total for the general fund yet. So I'm not sure. Because I know that there are street, that's the big part of it. And there are some others that I'd have to, from other funds. Then I think the ones that mainly affect the general fund would be the park.
There's some for the park and then some just general projects that were, you know,
So I don't have the total, but that one amount that was published is it's significantly less than that for the general fund. But I don't know, I don't have the right, I wasn't prepared for that tonight, sorry.
That's okay, but I mean, because this is the types of
Right. No,
information we need so that we can make reasonable decisions.
sure.
I mean, I understand that we all here got caught off guard with this. I don't think anybody here had any knowledge of this stuff coming until they came. But yet, it is gonna affect our.
Do you mean nobody knew about this till just recently? Is that what you're getting on?
No, I'm talking.
Because everybody up here, almost everybody has had
I'm talking about,
conversations.
this came after you, after most of the new people, and then the ones that were here, we didn't know these were coming until after they came. It's not something we could have prepared for, because we did not have any knowledge of, is what I'm trying to say. It was a
Until you were
surprise.
handed the packet, none of us knew.
Correct,
Correct.
yes.
So, I mean.
Including
guess-
yourself.
Including myself, but yes.
So it's nobody, I'm not saying anybody here's at fault for that, but yet we do have to deal with it
Right, we do
in a
have to-
realistic fashion, and we gotta know where we are.
Right.
So to his point, Jeff, does your 808,000 projection
No-
include the payments?
It has
Those-
nothing involved with that because I don't know
Okay.
the full amount that will be coming from the general fund. And once we
And those-
determine the amount that the general fund might owe, there may be room to negotiate some of that.
Okay.
Well, and that's exactly the point, is there are some of those, and please remember that the conversations between Dale and I, Courtney's been a part of a few of those, most of those were, and I've said this 100 times, you know, Dale's not in a big hurry, that doesn't mean we don't get in a hurry, but some of those we may go to him and say, look, we got an issue with this one. The game plan right now is that we're going to pay the ones that are not out of the general fund. But he's aware his time is coming, and he knows that that's there. But we're gonna pay Dale, as we agreed to do, a little at a time for the work that we did. There are some things that we're gonna question, but this goes back into what we said about the heating and air at the police station, or those kind of scenarios where we sit down, and this is the day-to-day business of the city. Where I get to sit down, and Courtney or Lori, whatever, we sit down with them and we say, listen, here's the deal. Some of those we'll bring Chase into, so, you know, and say, you know, here's a scenario we need you to look at, what do we have? But the idea is that we just have to maintain a good relationship with them.
Jeff, at the end run here, the end result, right now, as it stands, we carried over this year in this budget 1.2 million, and you're projecting next year's carryover to be 428,000. Is that right? If everything stands like it is.
Actually, we carried over 2 million about, and we are going to, if we spend like we are now, we will carry 1.2 over to the next one. Then that's the 24-25 year. It's just to show you that if you continue that same trend, you would knock it down even further to like 400,000. That's just numbers to,
So at the very best we're looking at right now, we're gonna be short next year the budget we had for this year.
unless something's done, yes, your budget will be,
Unless some miracle happens, that's what's gonna take place.
based upon the calculation, like I said, it'll fluctuate every month, but right now it shows an $825,000 decrease in budget. That's that number on the far column difference where it says 825,582 negative.
Okay.
That's the amount, because most of that is the difference in the revenues or expenses, but our revenues are slightly less. So that affects your budget a little bit.
Is most months been that we've spent more than we've taken in? I know January was, February was, March.
Yes, I will have to say that the first 3 months, you were pretty much at about over 700,000 in the negative. So for the rest of that year, you have maintained within $100,000 of that. It's pretty good. So each month, it's just a little bit lost. We had 1 month, I think we had a little bit of a net surplus.
Yeah, I
It's
think it's
a
like-
little bit, not, it's kind of a little frustrating, I guess, in a way, because you just see, it's so close, but not quite. But it's still a little bit of a negative. So the first 3 months were the bad ones, and then for the rest of the year so far, it's been okay. It's been relatively close. I think January was, what, negative 20?
So the financial statement that I gave you, the preliminary one, was 31,252.69
Negative?
revenues over expenditures, so that's
Wait.
negative, but it wasn't positive. But now that we've basically closed it, I just have one little thing to fix, and it's $20, but I'm fixing it, just so you know, because I'm not gonna leave that there. We are at negative $17,889.94.
And
So
that's with us having a remarkable increase in our revenues, right? Is that the,
the revenues for January, once I fix this $20 thing, I'll send this to you guys too, but the revenues for January were $671,016.42.
to the general fund?
Is
Yeah.
that much different than normal?
December's
I may be thinking
was
about February's.
601,000,
Okay, I mean, it's not off average terribly.
not too bad, but.
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor, question I have about, you're talking about selling assets.
Mhm.
Are we able to put that into the general fund, or does that, since it's a tangible asset, does it have to go in capital?
I think you can put that wherever you want.
You can?
I think the board can designate the location of that fund. I don't think there's not a requirement that capital outlay fund is set by you guys. It's not a state
Good
run
enough.
or anything. So you guys can designate on a sale of property like that,
Where it
where
can
it
go?
goes.
Okay, good deal. That's what I was kind of wondering
And,
about.
and again, just for the record, my direction is to build those reserves back up.
Right, uh-huh.
You know, we can't just throw everything in there, but there are ways to do that.
I just didn't know if we had to put it in under capital since it was
So,
a
and
capital.
Jeff and I have talked a little bit about that in the past, so.
Okay, all right,
Yeah, you have control over that.
good deal.
Mayor, what are some of your ideas of how we could save on spending for the rest of the fiscal year?
Well, I think, first of all, we're gonna continue, reaching out, have a seat.
Thank you.
Sure. Reaching out to the public and letting them know that our department heads are dedicated to saving. They are working diligently to reduce their spending, within maintaining their operations of their departments. I will say, I find the tragic irony is that it seems to rain and pour on the city lately with repairs and costs and attorney fees that weren't predicted, things like that are just, they're just things that we didn't have any control over. You know, we don't have any control over quite a few things. Continuing to pinpoint down overtime issues. You know, we took a pretty good stance at one situation, and we've got it looked at. Continuing to look at what we have that we can unload. We are working with the EDTA to promote these properties that we have regionally. Regionally is about as big as we went, right, Mr. Anderson? But credible sources of media to get those out there. You know, we did have one call this week as somebody inquiring to buy the police station, but it was outside her family's budget. And so, you know, we're working with developers, and we're working with brokers that have businesses and companies that would be beneficial to our community. We have a direction where the Ford dealership that's building that strip mall has come in, and they've asked us to, you know, look at what they've got there for retailers. They have no overhead on that building, so they can work with the renters that go in there. You know, trying to reduce any costs that we can while we're working to bring in revenues. We've got an annexation that we're getting ready to bring up, and that annexation will bring us revenues. Every time somebody turns on a light, we're gonna get sales tax off of those light switches and such. But also every time somebody in those apartments gets on Amazon or Temu and buys some flip-flops or whatever it is they buy, we're gonna get revenues from that. We took our community development group this week, and we talked last week, sat them down and had a very stern conversation about how we deal with inspections and the processes and what we do so that we become more appealing to companies, so that a contractor will be like, hey, Pryor's a great place to build now. They're making changes, they're making progress. And so, you know, that we took a very, very aggressive stance on that in that almost hour and a half long meeting. And so as we do these things, it's a cumulative effort on what we're doing to increase things. But again, unfortunately, you know, and I know it's the rec center, not the general fund, but scenario gives proof that just late last night, I get a call that our pool pump went out. Okay, I'm gonna stop answering the phone when Mike calls, because it's always something. But we have to look at that. We look at our mowing for this next year. You know, every department's either got mowers everywhere or they're paying somebody to mow, and what do we do and how do we, you know, is a wise scenario to bring in a grounds department and get all those mowers centralized and just have a couple people doing it, and we're paying less to third parties? And are those things that we can do to save some money? And so, is there one thing? No, it's a game. It's a game plan. We have to have a game plan. We have to have a vision of what we want to do, the direction we want to go. The discussions with MUB, you know, I will give the props to Jared, who actually approached me and said, hey, our revenues have gone up and yours have not, so we need to sit down, Ben, Chase, and I, and we need to have a conversation about how we can get the general fund some more money. And so we're just a couple weeks in on that, and we're both pretty busy, so those are hit or miss conversations, but we were able to sit down the other day and just brainstorm some ideas, just some ideas, you know. We look at other communities, and I know we've voiced our opinions on how we feel about that, but you know, Claremore, you go to the movies in Claremore, and they're gonna put up a big commercial that says, you know, we have these stormwater drain fees that we put on our bill, and those go to their general fund, and. Are those things that we need to consider? And the answer is yes. Does yes mean we're gonna do it? No, but by golly, in our situation, we need to consider it. And I think it's responsible for us with level heads to consider those things, to consider what we need to do. Do we need to put together another education video like we did in 2017 at no cost to the city that says, here's where we're at, here's where we're going, give us some thought, give us some feedback. It would be great to hear from the community what they are okay with, what they feel we need to do. You know, this is our community. We should be able to talk just like a family does at the dinner table about what we need and what we do. We're gonna have yays and nays from all sides of the equation. There's gonna be no's, there's gonna be heck no's, there's gonna be absolutely. I've had many people just in the last week that I've shot some of these ideas by just for discussion's sake that have said, you know what, that wouldn't bother me at all. So, you know, we need to get that feedback. That's where the council comes in. You know, it's 8 men and women that can get out and ask the public what they need, what they want, what they're okay with. In the same time, making sure that we understand how the budget process works and the rules and the laws that go with each account. It'll make your head hurt. It will make your head hurt. But the minute that we start, you know, the minute we start saying we're not gonna do or we're not, then we're not a part of that vision of finding an answer. My direction is we need to do what's best for the people. We need to do what's best for the schools, the churches, all those things that benefit from the services of the city. But at some point, we're gonna have to make a decision, whether it's a happy one or a sad one. We're gonna have to do it.
Well, that's the city's function, is to provide services.
Mhm.
I mean, that's what we do. And I can't, for the life of me, see where we're just frivolously throwing money away. I mean, we've cut back on so many things. I don't know what we can just really cut back a lot further on. I'm trying to figure that out. I've been thinking about that, and I just don't know where we can cut a bunch more money than what we're doing now. Does anybody have any ideas where we could cut more?
Eliminate
I do.
city council pay.
That's twice you said that. I won't have no gas money for you.
You can borrow one of Jeremy's e-bikes. Fire department.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Chief. Yeah. Carrie's ready to flex.
Yeah,
You know, and I'll say it again, I have an open door, every day of the week, my door is open. And I don't think there's one of you that I've ever said, no, can't talk right now. No, that's not true. You knocked on my window the other day and I was on a conference call. But I got an open door, and you guys know that. I would welcome anybody in this room who wants to come and talk. Anybody. But there we go, right? So.
Can I ask a question?
No.
Who's that over there?
Well, I know there's laws and things like.
You're gonna need to come to the mic, or Nina's gonna yell at me.
Okay, well,
We'll get hollered at if you don't.
I mean, the thing is, I know there's laws, and I've talked about it, but also with the city, the citizens of Pryor, they don't understand that when they say they pay their taxes for different things, they don't understand that the taxes is not going to the city of Pryor, it's going to Mays County. You know, and I still don't understand, there'd be a long list of doing, but why can't the city, somehow petition meetings and stuff like that to get a portion of the property taxes within inside the city limits of any town? Because that they're living in through here, why can't you get any money out of that to help to run the city?
That would be a Chase or a Coker question.
Because I get it every day.
That can answer that.
We're out there, well, I paid my taxes for this, what taxes are
Yeah.
you talking about? Well, my property taxes, that goes to Mays County, that does not go to the city. And a lot of people don't understand that.
it's state law.
And in some states you
Well, that's
can't.
what I'm saying, yes, state law, I understand that, but why can't there be something, some type of negotiations?
We can't violate. State law is gonna trump anything we do. Even if we reach an agreement with county, it'd be a void agreement.
Honestly, I think the state hates cities.
I still think.
That's a fair statement.
Well, we'll
Is
have
that
to
necessarily
try to
state
change it
statute,
in
or is
the
that
state.
constitutional?
I wanna say statute, but don't quote me on that.
Okay.
Right, yeah, there are some states that.
Oh, yeah,
are
we're one of
different.
the few that don't.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
All right. So are we done with Mr. Coker at this point, council?
Are they done with you?
I guess so.
Thank you, Jeff.
All right.
Thank you.
If you could research that one thing that I asked, that we would know how much money
Oh, on the general fund.
that we have in the kitty, if you will.
Okay,
Are you talking about the unallocated funds?
no, I think.
The reserves, right, Chris?
What we actually have in the account that is not encumbered right now.
So I kind of searched that a long time ago, but nobody let me talk about it.
I tried
we-
those.
I know. We budgeted 180,378, and our current balance is 164,878.
So that's what's in there that we could use,
That is the unallocated part
that would
that
be
we budgeted.
replaced as we use, would be replaced as we use.
It's not on a line item.
Yeah, no,
Yes.
Or
I think he's talking about how much
how much is in the bank account?
less the liabilities that we have. See, that's what
Yeah.
we're
Oh,
waiting for.
that's gonna take more math.
Yeah, that's gonna take a little bit more, because we gotta figure out.
So yes, we'll research that for you, Mr. Gontier.
Yeah, I figured it might take a minute.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you.
Further discussion?
Can we actually get on the agenda to hear from the department heads next time, for the
They
next
are on
council meeting?
They are. We've had such lengthy agendas
Sure.
and circumstances. They have not complained about me omitting them from the deal, but they are all prepared. So, and it is on Tuesday's council meeting.
Okay. Can we ask them to at least talk to us about where they're at with the hiring freeze and the
I think
impacts they're
if you ask them,
projecting?
they would tell you, as long as we keep the discussions reasonably within a time frame, because we have a lot on that agenda as well, so.
Tell me exactly what you want them to tell you.
Just kind of where they're at, where they're at, as far as. you
Needing
know,
help.
Yeah, are they anticipating the need to hire in the next 5-6 months through the rest of this year? This hiring freeze, to Jeff's point, he said had helped, but we cannot survive on a hiring freeze forever. Eventually, that thing is gonna have to get lifted.
You know, I
We're
think,
gonna have to let people start hiring eventually, and that's gonna hurt us if we don't have the revenues to cover.
well, and to that point, without getting too far away from the agenda, Chief, if you don't mind, how many officers on patrol did you have today? One, and we had to call somebody in, 'cause we had one at the hospital, called in sick, and so we had one officer. For clarification, why was he sitting at the hospital? Because of the pursuit the other day, the guy ran at 8 Air, they had attacked on him, and he had asked them to take him to the hospital out here for fit for confinement, because when you arrest somebody and take him to jail, they're gonna say, go get him a fit for confinement. So you gotta go to the hospital. Hospital said, no, he needs to go to Tulsa. If we let him go to Tulsa and we don't sit there, he walks away. They won't tell you, HIPAA protects them, they'll walk away from the jail. He's wanted out of 3 states and 4 or 5 felonies through us. So we sat around the clock. We actually sat for 2 full days. The doctor over there, I called and I'm like, hey, you're killing the staffing levels here, we need help. He released him today, and then on the way to the jail, the guy had another asthma attack, had to go to Bailey Medical Center in Owasso. Trammell got in his car and drove over to Bailey Medical Center and was like, listen, this guy's fine, here's what's going on. They released him, and I called Mike Reed and said, hey, this guy's gonna play this card, but he's a bad guy and he needs to go to jail, so he's in jail. But it took several days of that. But the idea is you had one officer on patrol today. And sickness. I mean, everybody's been sick, so you start falling like flies around there, so you're struggling.
Jeremy, in a situation like that, when he's our prisoner, do we have to take care of the medical bills?
No, well, I don't know. I don't think so. I think that goes. It'll be on him. I mean, when he goes in there, they'll put it on his deal, like his information. They don't put anything on the city.
It'll probably be his jail costs,
So it'll go to him.
most likely.
Thank you. You're welcome. All right. Further discussion? Gentlemen, I appreciate the questions and the discussion tonight. I appreciate everybody getting on their new Chromebooks. We want to thank Google for that grant. If you have questions on those, you can come see me or Courtney. We'll get you some more help. Ask please that you keep those in these envelopes that we bought to protect them. Outside of that, item number 4. Do I have a motion for adjournment?
Second.
You have a motion from Chitwood and a second from
No.
Gonthier. Call for the vote, please.
Lamar,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Malure,
Yes.
Chitwood,
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Gonthier,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
We're adjourned.
Which way does it go?
Oops, we're still hot.
Right there.